Hey everyone, welcome to the RotoGrinders Morning Grind Podcast. I'm your host, Stevietpfl. It is Friday. It's April 14th. It's 2023. What's up, everyone? Hope you're having a fantastic Thursday night on YouTube. And if you're listening to us on the podcast, happy Friday. We have 12 MLB games to talk about here on today's podcast. I'm joined by my good buddy, Will Priester, the Chief. What's happening, my friend?
Nothing much, brother. Another day, another slate coming up. I think so far this is probably the most interesting one we've had so far. And I think we'll get into those reasons a little bit later, but definitely ready to try to break it down and listen, help these people make some money. I was on the Crunch Time, not Grinders Live. And I was heavy on the Twins on the previous slate, so I felt like a rock star. We'll see how it goes, but definitely an okay night for sure.
Yeah, I played disc golf league tonight, Thursday night, and I got done playing, and I had a really crappy round. I played if you know disc golf, I early released everything tonight. It was just weird. I don't know if it's a little bit of the rain or whatever, but it was just anyway. So I opened up my phone. I'm like, oh, Minnesota has 8 runs. I don't have any Minnesota stacks. Guess I don't have to check my phone the rest of the night. And then about an hour ago, I was looking at it and I was like, all right, Joe Ryan, he was like 18%. I had him on 2 of my 3 teams. He scored like 36. Both the teams that I had him on, St. Louis stack, Toronto stack. That's how my night was. So I know that I am good to move on to Friday. And that's just how it goes, right? At the end of the day, that's how it goes. And I mean, you're not going to win them all. You really aren't. Baseball is 162 games. You're not going to win them all.
Yeah. And tonight was one of those nights. I remember Philly had a game like that on like a random weekend one time where they just teed off, had to score like 12 runs or something in an inning. And it's one of those days where, okay, I'm like, yep, I know for sure I didn't have Philly stacks today. I'll see you tomorrow. So I know the feeling. Unfortunately, I was on the Twin side heavily. So it should be a good night.
All right. Well, hopefully you and everyone else had a good night. Tellus hit a home run, but it doesn't matter when Tellus hits a home run if you don't have anything to go with it. So, all right, we got 12 games. So we're going to jump into these 12 games. There's a lot to talk about, a lot to cover. We're going to go as fast as we possibly can. I mean, with 12 games, trying to get you guys the information as fast as possible. So, again, appreciate everyone hanging out with us live on YouTube. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button over there on the RotoGrinders Morning Grind YouTube. We're trying to grow it to 1,000 plus by the end of the year. Also, I'm going to bring back the Morning Grind daily contest. I tried to run it on Thursday. I tweeted it out. I didn't have success running it. I'm going to start this again on Monday. I'm not going to start it today. I'm going to start it again on Monday. So we're going to have some fun. Have some fun. At the end of the day, I'm going to run like a $5 contest that pays out a high percentage, and we're going to have some fun with it. So we get started on this slate. Minnesota at New York. Speaking of those Twins, this game has an 8 total, and the Yankees are a 172 favorite. Cortez against Tyler Mahle. Any interest here in Tyler Mahle?
Oh boy, I don't think so. I know that they just they just struck out 10 times against the other pitcher. Ryan, thank you. I was about to call him Bailey Ober, and I knew that wasn't right, which is why I was sitting there like, God, who is against Joe Ryan? But I'm not playing Tyler Mahle. I think his control issues are going to get him into some serious trouble in this matchup. At 8,900, even on this slate, he's going to get a massive fade from me.
Yeah, okay, so here is my potential argument for taking a shot on him is the Yankees lineup, like it seems like every year, is banged up again. LeMahieu's out of it right now. Donaldson got put on the IL. Batter's on the IL, which we know that he was on the IL already. Their catcher is on the IL or day-to-day. Like, So the lineup that they rolled out against Joe Ryan, like right when I saw that lineup, I was like, I have to have more than one team with Joe Ryan because it was just an extremely high strikeout team. And I think it's really going to be based on lineup because Tyler Mahle is a reverse power guy. So like he limits power against lefties. He gives up more power to righties, strikes out righties at a good clip. You worry about Judge and Stanton, but he should be able to neutralize Calhoun, Cabrera, Rizzo, like Cordero. Like, so I think depending on the lineup, depending on ownership, you could take some tournament shots. I don't think anyone's playing Tyler Mahle at 8,900 against the Yankees in Yankee Stadium. And that's my argument for maybe taking a shot on him here. Do I think he pitches as well as Joe Ryan? No. I think Joe Ryan's the better pitcher. We talked about him on the podcast yesterday. Joe Ryan has the same type of strikeout upside, but he strikes out righties at a much higher clip, which helps him against a lineup like the Yankees. So, Mahle, I could make an argument for large field tournaments. I'm also going to make an argument for some of these Yankees bats when we get there. Going to the other side, we got Cortez going up against Minnesota. I mean, if you looked at the lineup that Minnesota rolled out yesterday, you actually, could have made an argument for playing Brito. It's not the best lineup. What are your thoughts here on Cortez? You got to unmute your mic.
So sad. At least I got it right out of the way. It's not that
fresh for the rest of the podcast now.
Yeah.
Like, I think we're getting to the point where like listeners have their own little like game going for over unders on how many times Will forgets to unmute his mic.
Yeah, the blooper out of the gate. But I like Cortez 9,500. I think it's fair. Only 2 games in, once against Philly and one against Baltimore. So we haven't really seen the massive strikeout upside or the massive strikeout game. I don't think Cortez ends up in the 30s this year in terms of K rate. I think he ends up mid-20s, but I do think there will be some situations that we can take advantage of. I think this could be one. So at 9,500, especially looking at the rest of the board today and what we have available to us, I think Cortez is a fair price at 9,500 in this spot. I'm definitely willing to play him in a fair amount of lineups.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have any issues playing him here. He's not my favorite like guy because
No.
I mean he really relies on like his cutter. His fastball velocity kind of goes all over the place from 90 to 92, all last season. So I think like knowing like how much he's going to kind of depend on the cutter, we need to look pitch type profiles and like there's not a large sample size here for Minnesota against lefty cutters. So I mean, I could see it going either way. He's a low walk guy. He tends to limit home runs. So I mean, for that aspect, I think he's fine. I mean, his ceiling might be capped. I don't know. If I end up on a lot of him, it won't be a lot if I do end up on him. So, I mean, they're going to throw a lot of righties at him too. Buxton didn't miss the game on Thursday after had a collision on Wednesday, which was good to see. So,
yeah,
I mean,
I thought he was going to be out because, he gets hurt every year.
Dude, I watched that live and I was like, oh, that hurt. He laid there for a minute. I was like, it's probably a concussion. So I'm glad he didn't have a concussion for what it's worth. I'm glad that he's back in the lineup as well. So, all right. Bats in this one. Anything standing out to you for Minnesota?
I mean, nothing crazy. I don't feel like I want to stack against Cortez today with such a big slate and such what I guess I'll call blah to mediocre pitching. I don't think I want to take a shot on Minnesota here. I've got some other spots that I like a lot better.
Yeah, I mean, I think you could roll like a little 3-man with like Correa, Buxton, Miranda.
Yeah.
What is someone asking about Varlin for? Every site that I'm looking at has Cortez versus Mahle, so we're gonna roll with that. Yankees bats here.
I mean, I don't hate a Judge one-off or a Stanton one-off today, considering the power that Mahle's going to give up in the control issues. I think those are two big-time one-off candidates. I'm definitely not stacking the Yankees at all. I can tell you that right now. But I'm treating the Yankees kind of how I treated the Padres, the slate before, where I just took pieces, Machado, Soto, but not stacking the team, just taking a piece or two here and there. And that's what I'm going to do with the Yankees.
Yeah, I mean, just kind of attacking the power bats, I think. Judge, Stanton. I mean, if you want cheaper bats here, I guess you could, we're going to potentially need some value today. So, if any of these, Willie Calhoun cracks the lineup at 2,200, he's someone that has some pop. I mean, some pop, and he's another guy that can steal bases. So, and he hit fifth on Thursday night. So, at 2,200, I think Willie Calhoun is just a cheaper fill-in type of piece on this slate. So I don't hate that. Cordero, he's 2,800. He should hit 6th, 7th-ish. And he's shown, I mean, this guy has 4 home runs in his last 5 starts. He's loving this Yankee Stadium. Actually, none of those, all those were on the road too, I think. I don't think he's hit a home run at home yet this season. So that's funny. But I mean, listen, he's in that Yankee uniform. He wants to play every day, and he's off to a hot start. So, I mean, taking either one of those guys under 3K, they each have some upside in their own doing. So, all right, cruising along. We're gonna go fast. We're trying. There's a lot to talk about. It's early in the season. We're excited. Cleveland at Washington, 9 total. Williams against Quantrill, and the Guardians, a 146 favorite here. Will, any interest here in Cal Quantrill?
No.
Yeah, I don't think I can do it. Listen,
I'm not playing Cal Quantrill. I don't care who it's I'm not doing it.
Why is he so expensive? That's
correct.
Why? I don't understand why he's so expensive. I get why he's expensive. I mean, because he's facing Washington, he limits damage, and this team is not good. But I mean, he has a 16.6% K rate since the start of last year. He's not a big strikeout guy. So I don't even think I could do Cal Quantrill. I do like picking on Washington, but I don't think Quantrill. Going back to Tyler Mahle, I'll play Tyler Mahle over Cal Quantrill. I'll take the strikeout ceiling of So, Trevor Williams, 5,600. He's cheap, coming off of a decent start in Coors where everybody's stacked against him and he laughed at them. Any interest here in Williams?
I'm gonna pull out Uncle Shannon Sharp on you, Stevie. Not doing it.
Listen, everyone during baseball season will learn 2 things really quick. Will has very fast nose, and he loves meat on the bone. So, yeah, I have no interest in Williams here. I actually have a lot of interest in Cleveland. I think that they're really interesting. I don't know if I'd full stack them because of the lineup, but I think they're a really interesting secondary stack today. Naylor, Ramirez would be the 2 that I build around. And then you got Jimenez, you got Quan, you have other pieces here that make sense.
Yeah, I like Cleveland. I'm with you. It's kind of a spot where if I for me, a full stack is usually 4. I don't usually go 5 deep. If I stack them, it's probably Quan, Ramirez, Naylor. I might get to Josh Bell. But if I do that, then I can't play Naylor. So it's some type of combination of that. But that's where I probably where I end up. I know Rosario typically batting at the top of the order. He would probably be my extra bat. But yeah, I do like Cleveland. I'm with you. I think secondary stat consideration for sure.
Yeah, I mean, Williams is definitely a normal splits guy, way better against righties than he is against lefties. So I think if you're playing, I tend to lean to the lefties. So I also think Bell's an interesting call because, like you said, I mean, you're playing Bell or Naylor. You could play both of them on FanDuel. I mean, that's where you could potentially get different. So. Washington, any interest in the Washington bats here against Quantrill?
Not really. I don't want to play either side of this game, man.
The
Look,
offense is so bad.
I will say this: if Quantrill was a lefty, I probably would have had slight interest in Meneses. But that's about it. Like I'm not, but that's not the situation we're in today. So, God, I can't play Quantrill and I can't play Washington. Like it's so bad.
Yeah, I mean, so how bad Washington is? They have a 55 WRC plus to start the season. They've hit 4 home runs against right-handed pitching. They have a combined 0.84 ISO and a 260 WOBA. They're bottoms in WRC plus, WOBA, ISO, and home runs. So they have been putting the ball in play. They're not striking out a ton, but they're just not a good offense. So I think I'll leave them on the shelf here unless I end up on like a cheap one-off, but it's probably not going to be anybody for me for Washington. So it's really quick to go back to Varland because I know that they're talking about it in the chat on YouTube right now. If Varland starts, play right-handed power bats for the Yankees. He is a big-time reverse splits guy, and he struggles with right-handed power. So play anybody from the Yankees. I'm just saying, I like the right-handed power bats. Judge would be one of the top plays on the slate if Varland does start. So just throwing that out there. We're moving on, though. We have a lot to talk about. Tampa Bay at Toronto, 9 total. The Rays a slight favorite here, like 118. Rasmussen against Berrios. I mean, Vegas might not have been looking at like this Rays team to start the season, and I mean, let's talk Rasmussen, man. He's 10K. He has a extremely tough matchup here going up against Toronto. What's your initial thoughts here for Rasmussen?
Strikeouts have been there. I feel like I probably want to dig into him a little bit more throughout the day. As it stands right now, Stevie, I don't mind paying up to be contrarian a ton. Like those are my thoughts on Rasmussen. I'd be paying up to be contrarian because I don't think he's going to get the ownership at 10K in this spot. And that's my read on Rasmussen right now.
Yeah, I mean, his strikeouts are up this season, right? Like, there's no denying that.
And they also went up last season too. So like some things, in my opinion, fundamentally changing his pitching because when he was in Milwaukee the year before, he didn't have the same strikeout stuff. And I'm pretty sure I'm right about that, but you can correct me if I'm wrong as well. I feel like his strikeout rate went up last season versus where he was in Milwaukee, but
it was actually higher when he in 2021. He dipped down to 21.4. So here's my argument, right? Like this guy is at 35.7% K rate with a 13.3% swinging strike rate through 2 starts. He has a 111 BABIP. He's ran on the good side of BABIP, and he has career highs in strikeouts and swinging strikes when nothing has changed for him. He has a .23 whip. Okay, who has he faced? He's faced Washington and Oakland, 2 of the bottom 5 offenses in baseball. Rasmussen is a good pitcher. I'm not sitting here arguing that he's not a good pitcher. He is a good pitcher. With that said, Toronto lineup is not Oakland and Washington. This is a very sound, low strikeout, high walk rate team. It is a really tough spot for Rasmussen. So with recency bias, with the 10K price tag, I might be underweight on him. I don't know if I fully fade him because he is like one of the better pitchers that we have talent-wise on this slate, but it's a really tough matchup. And I mean, just there's some outlining numbers where, I mean, he's run really good. He's 0% home run to fly ball ratio with a 33% fly ball rate, generating 30% soft contact. Look who he's faced. Just all of these numbers are like, kind of to me, it's just like it's Oakland and Washington, like 2 bottom 5 offenses. We just got done talking about where Washington ranks across the board. Oakland's just as bad. So,
I agree.
Yeah,
and that's why I said I'd be paying up to be contrarian. But like he's not like my top guy today at all.
I think he'll be popular, Will. I really do. Like even against Toronto.
If he's popular, I'm taking the fade then. Like completely.
Yeah, with the pitchers. Like look at some of the pitchers that we have on the slate. Like I feel like He's definitely going to be someone that gets some traction today.
Listen, I've got a guy I like. I don't think anybody's going to like him today, but on this slate, we'll get there. Oh, buddy. Oh, buddy.
Berrios on the other side has looked bad to start the season. So
in spring training as well. I don't want to overlook
he
this.
struggled
He
in
was
spring
bad.
training. I will say I dug a little bit into him before we got rolling here. He has been a little unlucky. He's been on the unlucky side to start the season. Not enough to be like, so like he's had a 467 BABIP. That's high. His career BABIP, for what it's worth, is 298. So definitely running on the unlucky side of balls being hit. And I mean, two things kind of go to my mind. It's like, is he someone that benefited from the shift with his ground balls? He has a 48% ground ball rate. I mean, he's generating a lot of ground balls. So is he someone that is maybe seeing a decrease? His swinging strike rate is through the roof this season. It's 14.4%. His career average is 10.2%. So I don't think I want to play Jose Berrios in this spot. All that said, I don't think I want to play Jose Berrios in this spot.
No, negative. Not at all.
I don't know if I stack against him either, though. Tampa has been fantastic to start the season. Their prices are starting to catch up to him. So I don't know how much Tampa I end up on with these price points. I do like the ballpark. This is a nice ballpark upgrade for Tampa Bay.
So, Steve, I'm going to say a little tidbit about Tampa Bay. This is something that me and one of my buddies have talked about, just in terms of Tampa Bay, because I think a lot of people are going to think that, oh, it's just a shiny new toy, but they've actually made some fundamental changes at the plate from top to bottom of their lineup. Yep. Even looking at a guy like Randy Arozarena. So, and I do want to talk about this briefly. Last season, Randy Arozarena had a 25% K rate to righties and a 7% walk rate. Now, this season, it's early, but I'm telling you, they've made fundamental changes just in swings outside of the zone versus swings inside of the zone. He's got a 10% walk rate and a 15% K rate this season. Brandon Lau, of all people, 15% K rate, 21% walk rate to righties, 520 ISO. Yandy Diaz, 10% walk rate, 21%. 10% K rate, 21% walk rate, 333 ISO. Wander Franco, who didn't strike out a lot anyway, he only has a 5.9% walk rate, but he makes more contact than anybody else on this team. My point I'm trying to make is this real? Is the record for real? It is, because they've made changes where the guys that used to strike out a ton aren't going to be chasing outside of the plate. So my reason for bringing that up is today they get to see Jose Berrios, Stevie, who, if they're going to be patient, Berrios is going to walk 5 guys in this game if he's not careful. And if that's the case, that's where I think the stack is going to pay off. If they're patient, let guys get on. Because if they work Berrios into 3-2 counts, he's going to throw them some meatballs. I like Tampa Bay here. I know they're expensive. If people aren't going to play Tampa Bay today, I actually probably like them more today than I did against the slate before, when I think they were facing Kluber. They were facing Kluber before. I think I like them more today than I did the previous slate. I really like the Rays.
I hope you all listened to me on my rant about a week ago on Brandon Lau on how this is an MVP caliber player when he's healthy, and you've been playing him. I mean, he has 4 home runs in the last 5 games. He looks locked in right now. So he's still way underpriced. This is a guy in 2 weeks from now, we're going to be talking about Brandon Lau being overpriced in the $500 to $5,200 range if he stays healthy. Yeah. So really like this spot for Brandon Lau. I mean, it's hard not to have a Arozarena and Wander Franco right now. These guys are just continuing to produce. And like the best thing about playing Tampa too is if they are patient and they walk, they have no problem running. So I mean, they add to the upside that way as well. So yeah, I mean, maybe I like Tampa more than I initially thought. I mean, Berrios has really struggled, and if he's going to struggle with command against a team like Tampa, like you said, I mean, you kind of nailed it. I think you piqued my interest even more on, continuing to really kind of pick on Berrios until he kind of proves me wrong. I don't see why I shouldn't. And he's been someone that I picked on a lot to start the year. So, Toronto bats. Any interest in Toronto here?
I'm not thrilled about it. I do think Rasmussen should limit scoring initially. Now, does the Tampa bullpen hold up? They should. So if I play anybody from Toronto, then it's definitely just one-offing some power. But I don't see it. I don't see them being able to pile up runs today. So I'm probably gonna take the fade.
Derek and Chad asked if there's anybody towards the bottom of the Tampa Bay lineup that I like. Josh Lowe. He's hitting almost 350. He's getting on base. He can steal bases. Another guy that's just locked in at the plate. So
8% K rate, an 8% walk rate. I'm telling you, these guys, it's crazy, but
they're not 13-0 by chance. They are playing fantastic baseball to start the season. So
yeah,
got to watch them beat up on my Red Sox. I know. You all know that I'm a Red Sox fan. They beat up on my Red Sox.
Man.
Speaking of Red Sox, we got the Angels at the Red Sox in Fenway. 9.5 total. Pick'em game. Sandoval against Houch. Any interest here in Patrick Sandoval?
I feel like Sandoval should be on the list, Stevie. He's lefty, 8,500. Like, I feel like he's right in that range, and I don't think he's got cranked up yet. I don't like where he is pitching right now. Strikeout stuff is not there in terms of being able to put guys away. But I think just in terms of the pitching overall, when I'm looking at $8,500 guys, I mean, I've got another guy that I probably like a little bit more, but he feels like an okay play, like just okay. And I think on this slate, I'm going to have to accept just okay. And that's why I think he slightly makes it. I don't think he scores 20 fantasy points, Steve. I don't. I think he's somewhere around 15 to 16. And I feel like I'm going to have to accept that. And so just based on the slate in general, I'm going to play some.
Yeah, with the Red Sox right now, with Duvall kind of out, he's kind of the power righty. Yoshida's banged up right now. Story's on the IL as well. So, I mean, when you're looking at Boston, like, it's still like a very lefty lineup. I mean, Turner and Kiki Hernandez are probably the two best right-handed hitters in the Red Sox lineup right now. So, I mean, I don't think he's the craziest tournament option on this slate. Is he my favorite? No. Am I going to play some? Probably. I mean, just my only concern about him is his strikeout rate has just not been there at all. Like, even looking at some of his like preseason numbers and stuff. But I mean, he faced Toronto. That's a low strikeout team, but only 2 strikeouts against Oakland is somewhat concerning. Especially with that lineup. So I just worry about the strikeout upside. I think he's okay. Like I said, I don't really have anything bad to say about him. This lineup's not the best lineup in the world. So can Sandoval find that like 23% K rate that he had last year? If they roll out the lefties, I mean, this guy was just a lead against lefties last year. 193 ISO or 193 WOBA, 016 ISO. That is elite. That is an elite ISO. That is above elite. Whatever is above elite plus. That's what that is. So if they roll out Verdugo, Cassis, if Devers is back, that bumps him up. And I don't know how they really get away from these lefties. So,
yeah.
All right. Tanner Houck on the other side of this game. I mean, he's not been terrible, but he got Detroit last time out. His pitch count is still like they're not letting him go deep into games. I mean, he could have easily pitched more against Detroit, and they didn't kind of extend him at all, which is a little concerning, even on especially on a 12-game slate. Like, if this is a 4 or 5-game slate, 75 to 80 pitches. I mean, we're not like extremely concerned about it, but I mean, he's a solid pitcher from what we've seen this season. If we look back, If we look back to last year, he had, good stuff against righties and generates a lot of ground balls with a decent strikeout rate.
Yeah, I mean, my only thing, Stevie, which is kind of weird, I guess, this slate in terms of pitching is, I mean, it's these three guys at the top. I know we've already talked about Miley, who may or may not actually be pitching today. And then we've got old man Charlie Morton. And I do mean that with like out of the kindness of my heart. But Charlie Morton, in terms of baseball, is actually getting old now. There's a random collection of pitchers that I might have to consider. Steve, I think he might have to be on the list. Like if he gets 15 points today, if he gets 14 points today, that might be enough. And that's kind of where I am with him. I'm not in love with the play, just like I'm not in love with Sandoval at all. It's just about taking a version of a floor, that he might be able to give us even at 75 pitches. Like I think he's on my list for tournaments, but I don't like it. It's just the slate.
I think we'll talk about this guy when we get there, but I think I would just go all the way down to Woodford if I was going to do that. Like if I'm just going to go full on try to get 15 points, I'm just going all the way down. I'm just going all the way down. So we'll talk about that when we get there.
I do have a cheaper guy that I like, but
yeah,
we'll get there.
The only thing, this is one of the best teams in baseball against left-handed pitching. They are like 19th against right-handed pitching, and if they do end up running out like 7 righties, he is better against righties. So your argument for getting to 15 definitely becomes way more in play if it's a very right-handed heavy lineup. So Angels bats, anything stand out to you for LA?
I mean, look, man, we can always play Ohtani. We can always play Trout. And look, man, they've got another secret weapon out there in Hunter Renfroe. Like, they've got some power. I think that's what you do with this team. I don't want to stack the Angels. I don't mind picking a couple power pieces, though.
Yeah, I really wish Soto would have made it out of camp. I think he would have been a good utility left-handed hitter for them, but whatever. I'm not the GM. Yeah. Boston side of this game, I mean, I don't really have a ton of interest. I mean, you could one-off Kiki Hernandez at shortstop. I don't think I'm one-offing Justin Turner. I think that there's so much ceiling at first base on a big slate like this. So if like Christian Aurora bats leadoff, he's 2,500 at second base, and then I could see playing Kiki Hernandez, but I'm not going out of my way. I mean, Dahlback is 2,200. Like he potentially in the lineup here. So we have some cheap potential righties, but I think they'd be more like one-off spots for me.
Yeah, I that's where I'm at too. Like I'm not stacking this team. I'm with you though. One-offs are cool. Turn at 3,800. Like I think that's good salary relief. I know first base is loaded, but 3,800, I can't argue with that. You talked about Kiki. He's not really expensive either. So I'm okay. He's 3,600. Like I think those are good filler prices.
Is it me, or every time you say Kiki, you just like start thinking of that song? All right, I'm moving on. We got Baltimore at Chicago taking on the White Sox here.
Oh, buddy.
This game has an 8.5 total. It's a pick'em game. It's Wells against Clevenger. Any interest here in Tyler Wells?
No.
I mean, decent strikeout stuff. Just not someone that's going to overpower someone. I think that's kind of my biggest concern for taking shots on him here. And the White Sox have so much potential to be really good. So I don't think I'm playing Tyler Wells in this spot. And then Mike Clevenger on the other side. It's just, I mean, this guy can turn back the clock every once in a while and have those big games. But I mean, overall, I don't think this is a spot that I want to play him. Baltimore's been like a top 10 team. I will say, even though they've been a top 10 team, they are still striking out at a very, very high clip this season.
I agree. I'm not playing Mike Clevenger though.
Yeah, that's it. He has those games where he just like turns it back and he has big games,
I
and it's
know.
like,
But he's not in the Cleveland uniform. Cleveland Mike Clevenger was fantastic. He went to San Diego and now he's here. I can't do it, man.
I mean, his strikeout rate just dips so much, and now with him going from like San Diego to like Chicago, like he was kind of protected with his fly ball rate in San Diego. How much is he going to be protected in Chicago and some of these other ballparks that he's going to pitch in? So his low strikeout rate is the biggest thing to me. I know he struck out 8 against Houston to start the season. I think that was an outlier game.
Houston's striking out a ton, so against righties anyway.
Yeah, they are. It's just not the same Houston lineup.
Yeah.
They're dealing with some things, and it's just not the same Houston lineup. So let's talk Baltimore bats. They're expensive, but I think they're one of the top end stacks on this slate. On the road, you get power and stolen base upside. Like, what are your thoughts on Baltimore?
Yeah, I actually like this team, and I think you brought up something, Stevie, that I think we can't say enough or talk about enough. The ability of the stolen base this year is real. And so, look, they've got 3. I think they had 3 guys on this team steal the base today, maybe more than that, when they played their earlier game against Oakland. So, for that alone, we don't hear what I'm saying. I'm not saying we don't even need home runs from Baltimore. We just need guys on base. If Cedric Mullins gets walked, he's probably going to steal at some point in the game. If Mountcastle or there's another guy. What is his name? Jeez, it's not Urias. Who is it? I can't remember. But there's some other guys on this team that Mateo. I think Mateo will steal. So you kind of put that together: walk, steal, run. Thank you, Derek. I think I said it before he said it, but walk, steal, run gets us just as many points. I like this team. Because they got
getting more RBI potential too, with the guys getting on second base, getting in scoring position, a single to the outfield, you're getting an RBI single, then your guy has the potential to steal. Like, what's impressive about like what Cleveland and Arizona and Baltimore are doing, Philadelphia too, their ratio to like stolen bases to caught stealing is fantastic. I think Cleveland leads the league at like 15-1. And I think Philadelphia is against right-handed pitching. I think Philadelphia has 10 stolen bases against right-handed pitching with 0 caught stealing. So teams
with
are
Trey
on
Turner on your team, you should.
Yeah,
you got Trey Turner at the top of your lineup. You better not be missing getting caught. Oh gosh, man.
But I'm just saying, like, what Baltimore is doing is they're adding runs, they're adding RBIs, they're adding upside with stolen bases, and they still have like power guys. Like, so I think Baltimore is going to be a team we talk about all year that we're going to be talking about stacking this team. If they're going to keep running and playing this type of baseball, they're a DFS gold mine. Especially at these prices. No one's going to play Baltimore at these prices. Like, Cedric Mullins is 5,500. Do you want to know who's in his price range today? Just off like Arenado, Austin Riley, Mookie Betts, Pete Alonso. Like, I like Baltimore. They're a stack I like a lot today.
And the thing too, Stevie, God, I know we got to go. This is actually a pretty good slate. But when the guys can only get 2 pickoff attempts, they already know. If you try to pick them off that second time and you're unsuccessful, you're already done. The base is stolen.
That's an automatic. Like, if you do the 2 pickoffs, and like you're seeing more teams just do 1, because I mean, once you do the second one, you might as well just say, "Hey, go." Which I'm still on the fence about that rule for what it's worth. I think I think if you do a third pickoff move and the guy goes back to the base, he should be awarded second. And like, if you throw over and he's running, like, then like the play stands. But it's just adding more complex to an already complex thing. So I don't know. I don't know how I feel about it, but
I think it's to speed
listen,
up
it's
the game,
producing
though.
more runs and more fun in the game. So
Yeah,
what am I to argue?
yeah. I think that's what it is. I think they're trying to speed the game up so guys can't just pick off and pick off and pick. You get two. If you don't get it in two, we got to keep going. But yeah, all in all, Stevie, I'm not going to complain. I like the changes so far. If they come up with new ones, great. But I like the fact that they did something to make it palatable and fun for everyone. The new kids that want to come in and play with if they realize they can hit and run and steal again, that makes it exciting for athletes that might not be the power guys. So anyway, side story, but thanks for letting us go down the rabbit hole. I'm going to be quiet now.
No, you're good. Everyone knows that I used to pitch, and I don't know how I would feel about it as a pitcher. That's all I'm saying. I don't know how I would feel, but I don't have to pitch anymore. I just get to sit here and talk about it, so it doesn't matter. We're moving
I
on to the
played
White Sox
second,
side of this game.
so I love it.
Yeah, I know. I mean,
I love
looking at the
it.
White Sox,
Oh
where
boy.
Wells has kind of been reverse splitsy since the end of last year. He is a fly ball guy to both sides, but he gives up more hard contact and more power to righties. So I think if you're targeting the White Sox, you might just kind of go down and look for some cheap White Sox righties. Sosa is 2,200. He's getting some play here with Tim Anderson down. So, like, if he continues to crack the lineup, he has looked good in his few plate appearances. He was someone that people thought had a chance to be like a utility player at a camp, but just the right-handed power bats. Luis Robert, probably my favorite, but he's also the most expensive. But if Moncada doesn't play in this game, you could potentially get like Vaughn and Berger. I want the right-handed power bats. I don't know if I'd fully stack a White Sox team, but like one-offing power righties is definitely in play here today.
Yeah, that's where I'm at. I don't want a full stack. I think I'm a little bit more mini stack with Chicago than I am, say, like Minnesota. So maybe like 2 to 3, something. No more than 3 if I get that many. I doubt I'll have 3. My max is probably 2 from the White Sox in one particular lineup.
Sebi could also kind of benefit from a low strikeout pitcher. When he's hit the ball, it's been really hard. He's striking out at a huge clip, but he has a 364 ISO. So if you want to take some shots at Sebi at catcher at 3K, and just hope that like he benefits from a low strikeout pitcher. Too early in his career to know like what he's going to do pitch type wise, so you can't really look into that too much. Atlanta at Kansas City, taking on the Royals. 9 total in this game. The Braves a 132 favorite. We got Morton and Singer facing off against each other here. Any interest in your boy Charlie Morton?
Stevie, I don't really want to play Charlie Morton, to be honest with you. But, God, man, Kansas City's been bad. They've been so bad. And we saw him get up to 104 pitches against it. He went from 81 pitches to 104 pitches. I didn't want to play him today, but he's probably a better play than Cortez, generally speaking. Like, if he's going to get – because his leash is going to be longer than Cortez. If Cortez isn't pitching well, they're pulling him, probably 5th inning. I know for sure if Charlie Morton's pitching reasonably good, by reasonable, I mean he's going through 5 innings, around 85 pitches, has given up 2 runs, but have 5 strikeouts, he's coming back out. I think he's in play. I think he's in play.
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned the Royals as a whole. Against right-handed pitching this season, they have a 60 WRC plus. It's the second lowest in baseball. They have a 25.1% K rate. I mean, they're not the best team, and is like Charlie Morton hasn't had the best start to the season. He's had 2 tough matchups, man. St. Louis and San Diego. The velocity is good. The spin rate is close to what it was. So I think Charlie Morton at 9,100, a guy that we know can throw over 100 pitches, is in a spot we have to have some interest. Watch the weather in this game. This is a game with some potential weather. Washington was another one that had some potential weather, and I forgot to mention it. So we'll have to see what Roth has to say. I look at night before weather, and it changes half the time, but we'll see what Roth has to say. Because if there's weather, obviously you don't want to really touch a pitcher that might, throw 2 innings and then sit and not go back out. So pay attention to that. Brady Singer on the other side. I'm not playing Brady Singer against the Braves.
Yes, Stevie. I deep down inside, I want to because I know where his potential is, but I don't think this is the spot. He gets the fade today.
Yeah, I mean, like if we want to dig into it, we can. He's not a huge strikeout guy. He's around 16% through his first two starts, 23% last year. He's just not generating as many swinging strikes right now. I mean, the Braves are a strikeout team. I completely understand why, if you wanted to make some singer teams, you would, but I'm not doing it personally. I don't know if I'm going to go out of my way to stack Atlanta here. I mean, I always have interest in Matt Olson. He is off to a scorching start.
Hot.
Acuna, man, like this guy is healthy. He has 6 stolen bases already this year. He's
And
hitting
he's gonna
370. He has
keep
multi-hits in 3 of his last 4 games. This guy is he's just 6,500. It's so hard to play him with good pitching.
And see, here's the thing. I know it's like, but he's in the same boat. For instance, he's in the same boat to me as Mullins. If you walk him where he gets a single, you can almost hand him a steal. And if you do that, he's probably coming home with the guys he's got hitting behind him. And I'm with you. Matt Olson has made me forget about Freddie Freeman being in LA. He's been off to a fantastic start this season. Hopefully he can keep it up in pockets. Like, it's not going to last all season, but if we can keep hitting and maybe just not tail off too much, he's going to have a real good year. So I like Atlanta. I think he can take a couple pieces, but it is hard to get them all because Acuna's expensive. Austin Riley's expensive. You know, Matt Olson's expensive. Albies is reasonable. But if you want him, you got to pay.
All right. Yeah, I mean, Rosario is cheap. So if you want to play him, like I've been playing him in my Brave stacks a little bit. Ozuna is cheap if you want to play him in your Brave stacks. I mean, they just kind of make everything fit.
Yeah.
Kansas City, any interest in any of these Kansas City guys?
No, I'm going to take the fade on Kansas City today.
I'm trying to pull up and my browser is just being slow. Bobby Witt is still 2,900 on FanDuel. If you want to keep playing him over there, I'm definitely not going to talk you off of it. That price tag is extremely fair. He is someone that has 5 stolen bases to start the year. So if you want to play Bobby Witt on FanDuel, if he gets on base, he'll run. He has big upside. So I like the price on him over there. All right, we got Texas at Houston. Every time I have to say that, it bothers me. But anyway, Texas at Houston.
The national team versus the state team.
I know it bothers me every time. Astros are 168 favorite. We got Garcia and Perez. It does. It just bothers me. I don't know why. Martin Perez, 6,800 going up against Houston. Any interest in him here?
Yes, Stevie. This is my cheap guy. Randomly, I'm gonna play Martin Perez today. Look, we can laugh, we can say what we want. I don't think Houston beats him up here. I don't. I think Martin Perez has enough in the tank to get it done. Stevie, I'm playing Perez at 6,800, and I'm going to take my 15 fantasy points.
15 is just not enough on a 12-game slate. There's going to be cheap stacks that go off, and the top scoring pitchers are just going to be in the 25-plus range, even on this slate. And I get what you're saying. I hear you, and I understand everything you're saying. It's just Houston has one of the lowest strikeout rates in baseball against left-handed pitching. You can pick on them with righties this year. They're just full of right-handed bats. Perez is someone that is very good. He has built a career at limiting the damage. And I get your reasoning. Houston's a top 5 team in baseball against left-handed pitching. I can't do it. I personally can't do it, and you can do whatever you want, and that is the best thing about daily fantasy.
Well, let me give you one more clarification statement. The reason why is Perez is my key to if I want to play Trout, Acuna, mullet. Like if I want to kind of have one of those where I play maybe 2 extra big bats, then that's how I get there. I get there with Perez. But that's the reason why. Like realistically, I'm probably going to play Cortez and Morton like in my main teams, but like in a lot of my in some of the 150 bills, stuff like that, I think Perez might be a necessary evil for me to get some of those bigger bats together.
I hear everything you're saying, my friend. I hear everything you're saying. I am never going to call a bad take. If you believe in something, you do you. I can't do it. I mean, it's as simple as that. I just can't do it. Garcia on the other side of this game, I'm not going there either. Just his command is all over the place right now. He's leaving balls up in the zone. I just can't do Garcia.
I get it.
All right. Any interest in the Texas bats against Garcia here?
The Houston bats.
Yeah. Listen, I wasn't wrong.
The state,
you see why I messaged with you?
The state team. I mean, I don't mind one-offs. Like I'll still take a Bregman one-off, but I don't think on this slate I would play it against Perez. I do it, in like some of my other lineups, but that's about it.
No, Texas bats.
Oh, you said Perez against Texas bats.
Yeah, well, I meant Texas bats.
Listen,
sorry. Nothing I've said is wrong.
Guys.
Still, I'm still right.
Oh God, yeah.
I mean, okay.
I don't want to play. I'll take Seager, but I don't really want to play too many guys.
He's on the IL. He got put on the IL. Did it happen today or yesterday? I think it was Wednesday.
Yes, you're correct. I don't know how.
Yeah, that hamstring. When it looked like it hurt when he was running from first to second. I was watching that at bat. So I mean, Garcia is a guy that you want to target with like right-handed power. He gives up a ton of fly balls and hard contact to righties. So I don't know if I want to pay this price for like Marcus Semien or Adolis Garcia. Those would probably be my 2 favorite here. If you want to go cheap at like catcher, Heim is off to a pretty good start this year. He hits righties and lefties. So I don't mind maybe taking some shots on him. Or, I mean, again, like Josh Jung is a talented prospect if you want to target some power here against Garcia. I like the righties. I would make an exception for Heim, the switch hitter, just because he's a cheap catcher. Now you go for talking about Houston bats.
Yes. So I don't mind a one-off with Bregman. I don't mind. I actually don't even mind a one-off with Jose Abreu. But like I said, I'm not going to stack them against Perez. I'm not stacking them, but I will take those probably that handful of one-offs. But that's about it. I'm not playing too much Houston today.
Yeah, Perez is a tough guy to stack against. He really is.
Yeah.
All right, Pittsburgh at St. Louis. 8.5 total in this one. The Cardinals a 162 favorite. Oviedo against Woodford. Any interest here in Oviedo?
A guy that's tough against righties, not so tough against lefties. He'll have some opportunities today, Stevie, with some of these righties, but I do feel like he's a tournament guy. I think I'd take a sprinkle of him in 150 max, but not in like single entry or 3-entry max.
Yeah. So if you listen to the podcast yesterday, anybody listen to the podcast yesterday, I was talking about how maybe I should be careful with the Cardinals coming out of Coors, and I should have listened to myself. Like I should have listened to myself, dude. They scored 0 runs on 6 hits. And I talked about it. Vincent Velasquez went out and pitched a solid game. Like,
beyond solid. Didn't he go a little bit past 6 and 6 Ks? It's incredible.
I mean, Oviedo get a little bit of revenge here.
Yeah.
The problem is like Oviedo is he's worse against lefties, and this team is, I mean, they've added some lefties to this lineup, so it's not just this, full-on right-handed lineup anymore. And if it was, I would have some interest in Oviedo here. I mean, upside wise, I think you could take some shots on Oviedo. He has decent strikeout stuff. It goes up against righties, but I'm probably not playing him today. I could see the argument for him. I really don't know who I really want to take shots on cheap wise. Going to the other side of this game, it could be this guy. I mean, like I said, I could see myself just going all the way down and just punting. The Pirates lineup's just not the best looking lineup right now. They're missing some pieces again with Cruz out. I mean, I could see this being a spot where Woodford gets 15 at 5K. But it goes back to the argument. I don't know if 15 is enough today on a 12-game slate.
I mean, at 5K, it probably is.
Yeah, 3x doesn't suck. Your hitters got to do their thing if that's the case.
Yeah, that's really what it is. I think you're planning on the hitters to really carry you in that case. So I think I get it at 5K. I think Pittsburgh is going to win this game though. Woodford might have a rough day.
Yeah, I mean he's not the best pitcher. He doesn't really have like that dominating stuff. And it just, I mean, that's just one of the reasons why we pick on him so much. So, all right, let's go Pittsburgh bats. What's standing out to you here for Pittsburgh?
Well, I mean, I think with Pittsburgh, you just kind of take a couple guys. Like they're a little bit expensive in certain places. Like if you look at them, like do you see the price on Brian Reynolds right now? $5,900.
He deserves it, man. He's crushing the baseball.
And that's what I was going to say. Like, but he should be that price. With where he is, I miss Cruz. I knew we would get steals and stuff like that. I think as a team, I don't really want to stack them. I think they're another kind of one-off team for me. A few pieces here and there. I don't like Woodford, so we probably should be stacking them. If we do, like Santana's 3,500 at first, you know, you can kind of put him together. Joe, I'm not sure. Connor Joe might get a little closer to the top of the lineup today. We'll see. But all in all, they're just a weird team. I don't want to stack them, but I'd one off against Woodford.
I like the Reynolds play. Santana's more of a fly ball guy. Woodford's a ground ball guy, so I don't hate that. Jack Wazinski, if you want to go cheap, he's 2,400. We've seen him for 285 at bats so far, and he has a 46% fly ball rate with a 222 ISO. He's just a huge strikeout guy, so could potentially benefit from a 13% K rate pitcher at 2,400 on the road too. So don't hate taking maybe a shot on him, or even like a Choi. Like you could potentially use some of these cheap bats against Woodford. And I mean, I could see a 3-man stack for Pittsburgh with 2 cheap bats and Reynolds or something.
Yeah.
St. Louis, I love the idea of playing some St. Louis here after they disappointed so hard on a small slate. Oviedo's not a terrible pitcher. They're still, I mean, they're fairly priced. I mean, Goldschmidt and Arenado are where they should be, but the rest of the team pretty fairly priced. I don't mind going back to the Cardinals here.
Yeah, I don't hate it. I for sure want to play some Tommy Edman today. Like, listen, folks, Oviedo struggles to lefties is real. And so, Edman, if you're going to stack the Cardinals today, I wouldn't do it without Tommy Edman. I can tell you that right now.
Yeah, I mean, Burleson, I think, is someone you could take some shots on. Hitting at the top of the lineup, Donovan. So, all right, we got the Mets at Oakland taking on the A's. This game has an 8 total, and the Mets are a 188 favorite here. We got Senga against Caprillion. Any interest here in Senga?
Steve, I mean, I feel like I have to. Oakland's terrible, and, you know, Senga's been able to, you know, handle a Miami team twice. So I'm basically in back-to-back starts. Strikeouts are there. Pitches were up to 90 in the second start, which means we probably get that or a little more. I don't think he goes too far past 90. But against Oakland, I think we've got a shot here, man. This game is later at night. Should be a little cooler at the ballpark. Already a hard part to hit balls out of the park anyway. Senga's expensive. I don't want to pay 10-4, but I understand the price. I would definitely pay the 10-4 for him before I played Rasmussen. So I'm definitely going to have some Senga because it's warranted with the matchup.
Priced up a lot on FanDuel as well. Like he's at 10-8 on FanDuel, so like he's expensive on both sites. I completely understand the price. I mean, this is basically the same type of offense. I mean, Oakland is not much different than Miami, let's be honest. So yeah, I mean, this is definitely a spot I could see paying up for this. Say he gets, if he's pitching well, I mean, 6 innings, if he's pitching well, is fine if he can get the strikeouts. I think there's going to be plenty of strikeouts here. They're at like a 25% K rate on the season. So, I mean, if you look at like the overall numbers for Oakland this season, you look at the overall numbers for Miami, you couldn't tell the difference between the two teams. Their numbers are so close. So, yeah, I think he's a solid play. I mean, Oakland's not great. The other side of this game, Caprillion, he's just facing an offense that doesn't strike out. They put the ball in play against a pitcher that struggles with command from time to time. I have no interest whatsoever here in Caprillion.
Oh, yeah, Cap. Nope.
All right, let's talk Mets bats. Hate the ballpark. Love the matchup. Any interest here in the Mets?
Yeah, I don't mind the Mets at all. Once again, I'm with you. Don't like the ballpark, but this is a spot where they should still be able to manufacture some runs, especially with the shift, with guys like Nemo, who, if they poke the ball through the right side, then, if they pull it a little bit, Stevie, nobody's there to just scoop it up and throw it out now. I've seen Anthony Rizzo get a couple extra hits already early this season due to them not being able to put the shift on him. So I like it. I like the Mets. It's not the best hitting environment, but we're getting a really good offense against a pitcher that won't be able to strike them out much. So I'm going to take my shot with some Mets today for sure.
Let's be honest, Pete Alonso can hit it out of any ballpark.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
And a guy like Sterling Marte, who has no problem running.
Yep.
Yeah, so I mean, you can add upside here for New York. I don't know if I full stack them. I think they're more of a secondary stack today. And then on the Oakland side, there's going to be times that I take some shots on some Oakland bats. I forget who they were playing the last couple of days, but I mean, the pitching wasn't great against them, and I rolled out a couple Oakland players. But I mean, just overall, I don't really have a ton of interest in Oakland. If Lorino is cheap on any site, if he gets on base, he'll run. But getting on base is not it's always the problem. So I don't have a ton of interest here.
Yep, not playing Oakland.
All right, we got Milwaukee at San Diego. No total in this game. It sounds like we talked about Eric Lauer yesterday, but they pushed him back. We got Eric Lauer against Waka. Any interest here in Lauer going up against San Diego?
No.
Hey, that's what I said yesterday. Just go right back to my thoughts. Ray ended up starting. Everything that we kind of saw was going to be Lauer, and then Ray got announced, which was kind of cool. Lauer struggles against righties. There's enough right-handed hitters in this lineup to do damage against Lauer. No interest for me. Waka. Any interest in Waka? Waka?
Listen. So here's why I have some interest in Waka. Milwaukee's been terrible. Here's why I don't have interest in Waka. I'm not paying $8,100. I can't do it. I can't.
I think you could make a semi argument for him. And like you mentioned, like Milwaukee's not been great this season. There's like 3 or 4 guys that are striking out at like a huge clip. Yelich is at like 30, almost 38% against right-handed pitching from what I was reading yesterday. Yeah, it's really high. Mitchell's really high and like Anderson's really high, but like the rest of the lineup, like Adames, Tellis, Voit, Terang, like these guys that are hitting in this lineup, they're all under 20%. So like you're kind of getting a mixed bag. Waka pitched so good last time out against Atlanta. He might get some ownership here. Atlanta's a higher strikeout rate team than Milwaukee. So
yeah.
I think I'm with you. I don't think I want to pay this price for Waka. The only thing that would change my mind is if we open the slate up and like his ownership was going to be a lot lower than what I kind of expected. But I think he'll have enough ownership where I feel like I'm okay being underweight on Michael Wacha. I mean, back in the day, this guy was really good. 25% K rate to start the season. I don't think the numbers keep going. And I mean, he's such a huge fly ball guy. Eventually, like those fly balls are going to start turning into home runs.
Yeah, for sure.
Bats, anything here from Milwaukee?
Probably just some one-off stuff again. Like, Rowdy Tellez, I mean, he's 3K, got to pop. I don't hate it. Same thing for even Yelich. Like, I know he's been bad, but
don't play Yelich.
He's still picking up some fantasy points. I know he's a ground ball guy too, which that's another reason why I'm semi-interested. Like, we might get a frozen rope out of him for a chance.
Line drive to shortstop. Dude, he is struggling at the plate right now. His strikeouts, like he's swinging at wiffle balls right now, it feels like. But yeah. I mean, you could play him. I mean, Christian Yelich, I hated the back injury for him. He was such a talented hitter. So for me, I'm Milwaukee. Tellez, the same reasons that I talked about yesterday. I want to attack his fly ball rate. I think this is a good spot for him. And then if you wanted to take Contreras or any of these other guys, like this is definitely like a potential 3-man you could look at here. San Diego on the other side of this game. I mean, I want to attack Lauer with right-handed power bats. It's just, are we sure Machado's still a right-handed power bat?
I mean, listen, he hit a home run. I think he hit one yesterday.
Yeah.
Or today, something like that.
You're messing with my jokes, Will. You know he has a 40% like infield fly ball rate to start the year against left-handed pitching.
And man, it's just got to get a little warmer, a little bit warmer. We'll be rolling. No, I like San Diego though. I think I'll take some shots on the stack. Like I'm not going to peg one or the other. Like this is the spot where I legit just stack this team. Even some of the lefties, I'll plug them in there because if they get the Lauer early, we'll see some righties and Cronenworth in the gang will be able to get to work here.
Derek, it's amazing how guys like Bellinger and Yelich go from MVPs to the struggle bus. I mean, injuries suck, man. Coming from someone that used to throw in the high 90s at a very high level and like got injured 3 times, like injuries suck.
Porcello, man.
I know the chat is on fire right now.
Oh my gosh. Rick Porcello.
I know Machado hit a home run tonight. I'm just having fun. Let me have fun.
Listen. Rick Porcello won a Cy Young, folks. Oh my gosh. I remember this.
I know.
That's hilarious.
We're having some fun tonight. It's a long podcast, but we're having some fun. We got Cubbies. Or no, we got Colorado at Seattle. We got Gomber and Gonzalez, 8 total. The Mariners are 172 favorite here. Any interest here in Austin Gomber?
No.
I really, really, really wish he was facing a different team today. But he's not. And this Seattle team is going to be very hard on lefties all year. France, Rodriguez, Suarez, Riley, Teoscar. It's just, I mean, they platoon in AJ Pollock. Like, this is a very, very tough team against left-handed pitching. I can't do Gomber today. Any interest here in Marco Gonzalez?
No.
See, I could argue that Marco Gonzalez. No. Listen. This is my argument, right? I could argue that Marco Gonzalez is a better play than Martin Perez today. I'm not going to.
Listen.
But I could.
I already owe you some jelly beans. I'd like, if you're going to play Marco Gonzalez, we're going to have to get the jelly beans going again.
Listen, I take my jelly bean bets very seriously. I mean, yeah. I'm saying that you can make the argument today. I don't know.
He's got an 88 mile per hour fastball. It's just bad, Steve. It's so bad.
Hey, Yeah, I guess. I mean, that's true. They have Crone. They have Bryant.
Woo.
They have enough
Is,
power, probably.
is Bryant coming back now? Because I know he was hurt.
He's expected to play, from what I read earlier.
Okay. Okay. Great.
I think he just missed Wednesday's game for maintenance, and like with them having Thursday off, it's a perfect give him 2 days to keep him going.
Yeah.
I think every baseball fan wants to see Chris Bryant healthy, and he could be another Yelich situation. Like we're not really seeing Bryant hit for power anymore, so we'll see. But CJ Crone is crushing the ball.
Yeah.
I mean that kind of goes in the conversation. Do you have any interest here in the Rockies bets?
Yeah, I like the Rockies today. Like I'm gonna attack Gonzalez anytime I get a chance this year. Like when a guy can't strike guys out most of the time and is just gonna be putting stuff in the zone, like I'm gonna take my chances. And that's what I'm gonna do with Colorado. They're outside of Coors. Nobody likes to play them anyway, even when they're in Coors most of the time. And today they get, I feel like a pretty cake matchup with some balls that they can make some good contact with. I like the Rockies.
Hold on. Dave in chat just said, I wish Seattle had a team this deep when the kid was playing. You realize that they had 3 Hall of Famers on that team? Alex Rodriguez, Randy Johnson, Ken Griffey Jr. They had Jay Buhner. Do you remember Jay Buhner?
Oh, Jay Buhner.
Oh,
Yeah.
They had Joey Cora.
Jay Buhner. That's man.
Dan Wilson. So I'm a Ken
We're
Griffey
dating
Jr.
ourselves. We're dating ourselves here. Like when you say Jay Buhner, and I know what you're talking about. This is
Edgar Martinez.
Yeah.
I'm just saying. Don't get me started with Ken Griffey. I'm a Ken Griffey Jr. guy. Fun fact. His first 13 years in the bigs, I have every single baseball card ever printed in that span. I stopped collecting after that time. So
that's a good one.
Yeah, I love Ken Griffey Jr., man. I got to meet him at Daytona when I was doing some NASCAR stuff, and I don't ever get starstruck. I've met a lot of really awesome people, and I'm very thankful for it. But meeting Ken Griffey Jr. was just, that was just next level for me.
Yeah.
All right, Seattle bats. I like the righties here, man. I think even in this ballpark, I think that you can take some shots here on Seattle righties.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I love it. Not to mention Stevie, Eugenio's got to hit one today, right? He's been okay anyway. We're getting him at 4,300. I like Suarez a ton today. Big time like Suarez.
Yeah, I love his price.
Yeah, 4,300, man. Sign me up. At third,
Pollock 3,400.
Oh yeah, this is a team to stack today. Love these guys.
Yep, like Seattle. All right, now we'll finish it out with the Cubs and the Dodgers. This game 8.5 total. The Dodgers a 174 favorite. We got Steele, and we have our favorite pitcher in baseball, Noah Syndergaard. Let's go. We'll talk Steele first. Any interest here in Justin Steele?
Stevie, I have slight interest. The Dodgers are not the Dodgers of old. You get past Freddie, you get past Mookie, Max Muncy just owns San Francisco, my God. But if you can get past those couple bats, they're not the same team. So I have slight interest. But, at 7,900, I could do way worse. So I don't hate it.
So, yeah, I was looking at the spot before we started recording, and Freeman still lefty. The guy he doesn't strike out. He just puts the ball in play a ton. Mookie, very good against lefties. Obviously, JD Martinez throughout his career has been good against lefties, but he has been struggling big time to start the year. My issue is they platoon these lefties out, and they get guys like Thompson and Taylor in there. I think it's a lineup thing. If they roll out 4 or 5 lefties, I think you take some shots on Justin Steele. If they have those righties in there, you could potentially still take some shots on Steele. I just like it way more if the lefties are in there. So, Dave in chat says all Seattle bats are under 2,900 except for J-Rod on FanDuel. That's fantastic. So, in France. I don't mind taking some shots on Justin Steele on this slate. He is someone that has some strikeout ability. He has some strikeout upside. like you said, it just isn't the same Dodgers team that we're so used to. So I think taking some shots on Steele it's just not the craziest thing to do. I mean, he's at like a 24% K rate. He's a ground ball guy. And I mean, yeah, his strikeout rate is so much higher against lefties. You really want the lefties to be in there. Noah Syndergaard on the other side of this game. Any interest here in Syndergaard?
No.
Yeah, I have no interest in Syndergaard. I can't wait to play some Cubs here. Like, give me guys in this lineup that like to run. I mean,
Oh yeah,
like Nico Horner might be one of my favorite plays on this slate. Like, if he can get on base on Syndergaard, he might steal 3 bases.
Just get on base. That's it.
Corey Bellinger, 3,200 against Noah Syndergaard, getting to hit one out in Dodger Stadium and looking at his old team. All joking aside, like any of the Cubs guys that run, take some shots on them. Ian Happ, Horner, like any of the Cubs that like to run.
Yeah. Yep. And Stevie, that's where I am. Like, this is a spot where I really, really, really wish Dansby, and it looks like he's going to come back. Dansby's going to be he's going to be in the lineup. My gosh, Stevie, all we need is a walk, a single, something. We can take a double. They'll steal any base on Syndergaard. So I like this spot. This is going to be so fun.
He was cramping Wednesday. I was watching that broadcast. He was cramping Wednesday, so I don't think it's a huge thing. And he's a guy that has good base skills, so he should be able to get on base here. So, I like this spot a lot for the Cubbies.
Me too.
Speed guys, man, like power and some speed. Like, this is a great spot against Syndergaard. Syndergaard is a guy you just every 5 or 6 days when he comes up, you're just like, all right, I'm playing guys against him every spot. They might have the lowest ISOs and WOBAs in baseball, but man, all I got to do is get on base and I get stolen base upside. So Velasquez is cheap as well. Yep. Dodgers here. Any interest in the Dodgers?
Yeah, I don't really want to stack the Dodgers down. I don't mind Mookie, Stevie. He's 5,500. You know, we talked about that range where obviously it's loaded today, but I don't hate Mookie. I don't hate Freddie right at 5,400. Like, these guys that I know are professional hitters that can just hit. Like, I don't ever mind those guys, but I'm not stacking the Dodgers by any means.
Yeah, I mean, so for me, Steele's he's a huge ground ball guy. He's a guy that just generates a ton of ground balls. So, like, who are my Dodgers that hit the ball up in the air? Well, unfortunately for Steele, it's JD Martinez, it's Will Smith, and it's Mookie Betts. It's the 3 righties. And I mean, Thompson's a fly ball guy. It's all like all of the righties are fly ball guys, and you're facing like a ground ball pitcher. So again, I think this spot could go either way for Steele. Some of the Dodgers are cheap. I think I would definitely prefer taking some of the Dodgers that are cheap, like Trace Thompson's 3K. He should crack the lineup. My only concern with him is as soon as it like gets to the point where he can get pinch hit for and the lefty's out, he gets pinch hit for. I hate DFS plays like that. So I mean, I might just leave the Dodgers on the bench today and take some shots on Steele. Steele might be that guy that we were kind of hoping for to get us 20 to 25 under 7K or under 8K. Like, he might be that guy. So
yeah, for sure.
All right, morning grind game, and then we'll get out of here. I know this is a long podcast. It's 12 games. We're getting faster. We're getting later into the season. Later in the season, it's like the 3rd week. Under 8K to get 6 or more strikeouts. Who do you got today?
Oh, man. This is a tough one today, Stevie, because of the spot. I'm going to have to take Steele. We just talked about him, but I think that's the right play.
Yeah, I mean, I don't hate that. I mean, this question's tough today. It really is. I mean, I think, not him. I don't even know, man. I mean, Steele was my answer too. Like, I agree with you. I'm sad that you didn't take Martin Perez.
No, I don't think
for you.
I don't think Perez is going to get 6 strikeouts, but I do think he's going to be okay.
Yeah. I mean, all right, so this question is who do I think is going to get 6 or more strikeouts? This isn't who do I think is going to score 20 fantasy points. So I
Right.
think looking at the matchups, the guy that can get 6 strikeouts in this price range outside of Steele is probably Brady Singer. So
Yeah.
he's not going to look, it's not going to be pretty getting there, but I think he can get 6 strikeouts. He might be one of those guys you take on like a bet, like a prop bet instead.
Yeah.
All right, over 8K to score under 15. Who's your bust today at the top?
Honestly, man, give me Lauer. I don't think he gets there.
You gave me the layup? Thank you. I appreciate you, my friend. Cal Quantrill is my answer today.
Well, that was my other one. Quantrill's my other one. Yeah.
What are they doing?
Yeah.
Over 4K to hit a home run. Who do you got going yards day?
I'm gonna try to go off the wall here because I know we got a fair amount of guys. I hope this is off the wall enough. This is a team I talked about already. Give me CJ Cron, 5,100.
I like it. I'm gonna go with one of the most talented prospects we've seen in baseball, and that is Adley Rutschman.
Yeah,
He
hit a walk-off bomb today. Walk-off.
Dude, I hate paying up a catcher, but this guy is legit. Under 4K to get 2 hits. Who do you like today?
We've got a lot of options today. Give me, man, I'm going to stay in that same game. Give me Jurickson Profar. I got another guy I like too, but I think these guys get to Gonzalez today. Give me Profar.
All right, my pick has had back-to-back multi-hit games. He's a very talented prospect as well. I'm on the prospect train today. Give me Josh Jung from Texas. I talked about Garcia's reverse splits. I think this is a good spot for Josh Jung. All right, Will, stack to score 6 or more runs. Who do you got today? Who is going to be that team today that is going to put up some runs on the board?
Hey, put on your armor. Give me the Guardians.
All right. Listen, I am going to go with the hottest team in baseball. This isn't really a shocker to anybody that's listened to the podcast so far, but give me Tampa Bay against Berrios. I don't know what's going on with Berrios. The numbers are not there, and Tampa is just hitting everything. So give me Tampa Bay. Will, any final thoughts before we get out of here on this beautiful Friday weekend?
Man, interesting slate. Big slate with not a lot of top ace pitching. You don't get that too much, so I like it a ton.
So many different ways to build on the slate. That is going to wrap it up here for Friday. We do have NASCAR trucks on Friday night as well, and Xfinity on Saturday, and Cup on Sunday. So if you're playing NASCAR, make sure you head on over to rotogrinders.com/premium/NASCAR. We have been absolutely smashing to start the season. So come join us, have some fun. Hope everyone has a fantastic weekend. We will be back on Monday talking some more baseball. Good luck, everyone. Have a good one. We'll see you then.